Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Kaylee and these are my books. Today's video is really exciting because it's a fantasy romance reading vlog and I love fantasy romance. I don't know, you guys probably don't know this because it's been a while since I've prioritized fantasy romance, but for majority of my reading life, fantasy romance was my #1 genre. That was my #1 go-to genre that I would read. Fantasy romance was just the best. It was the best. And it's just been a while since I've prioritized it. Not because I started disliking fantasy romance, just more because I feel like a lot of the friends I've made on BookTube and a lot of the connections that I have now are people that don't prioritize fantasy romance, and I always like to prioritize what my friends are loving, you know? And so therefore sometimes it's harder for me to prioritize fantasy romance because I'm prioritizing, you know, some of the more traditionally published romances or some horror books or thriller books or just like general fantasy books instead of like the specific fantasy romance books. But here is a vlog where I am allowing myself to prioritize fantasy romance specifically, and I'm so excited because I'm reading like 3 books that are so hyped up. I am reading both of the first books of the series of the Carissa Broadbent series, which she has been getting hyped up so much recently. So I am reading Serpent and the Wings of Night and Daughter of No Worlds. These are both books that are on my official TBR of the month too. So it's nice to actually read 2 TBR books. And then I'm also reading Savage Lands, which is another first in a series, fantasy romance series that has gotten a lot of hype. I'm super excited to be reading fantasy romance too because this is the month of Realmathon, which I am a co-host for. The Realmathon is a readathon created by Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy, and I am a co-host for Team Fantasy, Team Enya, and fantasy romances are going to get our team a ton of points because we get the genre bonus for them being fantasy books and the hybrid bonus for them being fantasy romance books. So now is the perfect time for me to do a fantasy romance reading vlog. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump you straight into the vlog. Hello, I'm just making breakfast right now, so if you hear a ticking noise, that is my toaster oven. And it just finished. It just finished cooking my bagel. I'm just taking it out of the toaster oven. Please hold. Bagel has been cooked. But what I was going to say is I am 25% of the way through Daughter of No Worlds, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it's going to be a slow burn because, I mean, 25% of the way through, and like I can tell who is going to be the love interest, but like nothing is even brewing. No feelings are felt right now. It's all very much plot focused on this fantasy plot. And so basically the premise of this story is we have our main female character, and she was kind of abducted at a young age to be a slave and sold off. And she is a performer, so she has magic, so she performs for people and like kind of flirts with people and makes butterflies for people, and that's how she gets money for the person that owns her, is putting on these magical performances. But she wants to get out of slavery and go and get the help of this other nation and get them to go and like free all of the slaves because her family was taken from her at a young age. She was abducted from them. So she wants to go and free her family from the mines, which is like a really bad place to be. And so she gets to this other nation, but they tell her that she has to be in this apprenticeship program in order to get some soldiers to go back with her to get her family. And there's not anybody left to train her except for this man, and he is not happy about it. He doesn't want an apprenticeship. He doesn't think the order is good. He doesn't think his nation is doing good things. He doesn't agree with them politically. And so he hates that he has to train this woman to be part of his nation's army. And so I'm pretty sure the romance is going to be between them two. So it's like a trainer and a student, but it's not necessarily enemies to lovers because they're not enemies, but they very much don't like each other right now. They are very annoyed with each other. And I think the beginning of this book was super exciting. I do think we're maybe entering a little bit of a lull right now. And so I'm hoping that things happen eventually because, you know, right now they're just kind of chilling, doing some training. And I'm like, I don't know, the training isn't like super exciting to read about. I'm not disliking it at all. In fact, I'm loving it. I'm just worried that we're going to be stuck in the training for a long time. And I'm like, I want us to move away from the training soon-ish. Like I'm okay with another like 10% of this, but then the plot needs to move on. So we'll see how that happens. Fingers crossed it goes the way I want it to. I have faith in it because right now I think the writing is really good. I think the characters are awesome. And I'm really intrigued by the plot, and I love a slow burn romance. So things are looking good. I am hopeful, but I'm also a little wary. So I'll keep you updated and let you know if it goes the way I want it to go. I already took a bite because I couldn't wait, but here's my breakfast. It's just a plain bagel with plain cream cheese and capers and smoked salmon. So good. Literally so good. I'm so excited. Okay, bye. Hello, I wanted to update because I am 50% of the way through Daughter of No Worlds. I forgot what I was saying for a second. It was such a simple thing to say, and yet I still forgot for a second. I am feeling some mixed things right now. I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it at all. I'm just not loving it, and I was loving it in the first 25%, so it has dipped down a little bit for me in this last 25%. I just feel like we don't have much momentum in the plot right now. I think a lot of really interesting things happen in the first 25%, and then this next 25% was really settled down and just allowed our two main characters in like the romance to get to know each other. And I don't know, I don't like the romance is fine, but I'm not obsessed with them. And the guy is just a little bit too cinnamon roll-esque for me. And what I mean by that is basically he's not like mean or sassy enough. Like I want more banter and things like that. Where really it's just not like that. The dynamic is different. I'm not saying they're boring together, but I just don't like them together as much as I hoped that I would at this point. I would say I'm still overall liking the book. Like if I had to rate it right now, I think it would be a low 4. But I'm hopeful that things will get more exciting, things will get more interesting in the next 25 to 50%, because I am only at 50% total through the book right now. So I'm going to read a little bit more, and I'll update you when I'm about 75%, and hopefully my thoughts will be, oh my god, this is amazing, I love it, because I want to love this book so badly. Hello, I'm checking in. You might hear my lunch/dinner cooking in the background. I'm making some food. I'll show you what I make after it's done being made. But I wanted to check in because I'm 75% of the way through Daughter of No Worlds, and I am enjoying it more. Something kind of happened right after the 50% mark that I'm very intrigued by, very interested to see how this goes, and I'm really happy with the direction it's going. However, I will say I'm still not loving the romance, which is so odd. Like, I'm not hating it, but I feel nothing about their relationship. I'm really in it at this point for the fantasy plot, which I don't know what's wrong with me, like, but I am intrigued by the fantasy plot. I will say, though, that I wish we had, I know this is a series, I know this will come in future books, but I wish we had some more satisfying payoff moments already in the book, because our main character is the type of character that works within the rules to manipulate people, and so she will like smile and flirt with like really terrible men, and so they come out of that conversation thinking that they've won, but she has come out of that conversation with more information, getting stuff that she wants. I'm being vague to hopefully give you the vibe of the character dynamics without giving you any plot details, but basically it's just unsatisfying for me to see these terrible men and terrible people being so smug and happy all the time. And I'm like, oh, I just wish once she would like put them in their place, you know? But I'm sure that's going to be coming like maybe at the end of the book, but maybe in the future books. But I kind of wish she wasn't playing by the rules as much. You know, I wish she was saying, screw the rules, I'm not going to smile at you, I'm going to punch you in the nose or something, you know. But so I am enjoying the fantasy plot. I wish our main female character was a little bit more sassy, and the romance I'm like so on. I'm not hating it, but that's not why I'm currently liking the book. So the fact that I'm not liking the romance, though, in a fantasy romance could be a huge problem. However, this has a really strong fantasy plot to it, and so because I am liking the fantasy plot, I'm still overall liking the book. So I'm going to check in once I finish the book, and I'll also show you what I'm making for my lunch/dinner, because it's kind of at a weird time. That's why I'm saying lunch/dinner. It's like 3 o'clock right now, so I don't know what to call it, but it is a meal. It is definitely a meal. Finished making my lunch/dinner/random middle/evening of the day meal, whatever you want to call it. It is Cajun seasoned tilapia with some roasted asparagus and some Parmesan noodles. Nothing super fancy, but it's going to be delicious, and I'm so hungry, so I'm excited to eat this. I finished Daughter of No World, and I'm giving it 3 stars. What the heck? What the heck? Why? Why did I not love it? I'm gonna go turn this light off because it's bothering me. Hold on. I also just kind of wanted to prolong me having to say that I didn't like it, because like, everyone loves this book. Everyone loves it. Why didn't I love it? I don't want to rain on people's parade, but I didn't love it. I mean, I didn't hate it. I'm giving it 3 stars. But here's the thing. I do not care about this romance. I don't think they're like cute together. Like, they're both kind of boring together, in my opinion. I feel like there wasn't much banter the whole way through, and it's just kind of like passive characters. I felt like they were both kind of passive. And I think it's just our main female character shows her power in a different way, but it's not my preferred main female character. Like, I just want someone like more sassy, more like not afraid to like show her power instead of playing the role of being meek and submissive. And our main character in the story very much plays the role of being meek and submissive in order to manipulate people. Like, don't get me wrong, it's in order to manipulate people. I'm not saying she really is meek and submissive, but at the end of the day, whether or not her motivations are based in manipulation doesn't change the fact that I'm reading all of these scenes where she is playing the role of being meek and submissive. So I'm reading scenes of her just being meek and submissive, and I'm like, ah! I don't know. I am intrigued by the world. I am intrigued by the fantasy plot. That's what gave it 3 stars, because like I mentioned, something happens to her that I'm very intrigued by. I like where I think the fantasy plot is going, and I think we'll get some more like badass moments with future books. There were some in this book, but there's just not enough for me. And so I'm going to continue on in this series, and I'm hoping to like the other books more, but the romance was just like the weakest point for me. I thought it was such a boring romance. I don't know. And it could be like, I'm not someone who loves friend to lovers, and I feel like this book just didn't have enough tension, enough banter. And while they don't start out being friends to lovers, it very quickly kind of turns into friends to lovers. I don't know. Didn't work for me as much as I wanted it to. I'm talking about it, I know, as if I hated it. I didn't hate it. I'm giving it 3 stars, but I am extremely disappointed because I thought this could be a new favorite book, and it's a 3-star book, a very meh book. However, I have started Serpent and the Wings of Night, and I am 25% into it. It's so good. It's so good. Like, I'm obsessed with it. I bought the freaking audiobook from Audible. I had to spend my real money, and I'm super broke right now, and I still spent some money on it just to listen to this book for the 5 minutes it took me to make lunch, because I couldn't bear to stop listening to it, stop reading it, for those 5 minutes. So I had to listen to it. And then I switched back to the ebook once I was done making lunch. What is this book doing to me? It's so good. Okay, let me tell you the premise. So basically, we have a human girl, and she was kind of taken from her family because her family was killed in this war, and is adopted by the vampire king. He's like this dark vampire guy, very scary dude, but he has a soft spot for her, and he raises her like his own daughter. And so she is now a grown adult, but she is this weak not weak. I just mean weak because she is a human living in this vampire world. So her body is inherently weaker than everyone around her, and she is seen as food by everyone around her. Like, this is a brutal world, super dark world. And the only way she can exist in this world thus far is because she's under the protection of the king, and he kind of keeps her safely in the castle. But he has been training her whole life to enter this trial thing. I forget what it's called, but it's a series of trials. And if you survive all the trials, if you win the trials, you get granted a gift from the goddess of death. And she wants to be granted a gift to get powers and become a vampire and be able to be powerful in this world that she exists in. But the reason why she can't be turned into a vampire is because 2 out of every 3 people that go through the turning die. So you have a 66% chance of death if you get turned into a vampire. So the king hasn't wanted to try it with her because the king loves her like a daughter. He doesn't want her to die, most likely. So even though the trials are brutal and scary, and think like Hunger Games-esque trials, and she is competing against other vampires, it still is like a better option than her going through the turning. And the romance is her with a guy that's in the trials that she's competing against. So it's very much enemies to lovers. The banter is already so good. And the fight scenes that have been happening, the actual trial stuff, like, it's so epic. It's so epic. It's so good. And like it starts right away too. You're immediately sucked in, and the trials start like right away. And so the pacing of this book is so fast paced, but still like giving us so many great character moments. And the combat is like really smart. It's super smart combat because we can see that this woman is weaker than everyone because she is a human. But we can also see that she is a badass, and she is the exact type of female character that I love because she is like sassy and a badass, really skilled at what she does. She knows she's a badass too, but then also she's like a real human. Like, she has vulnerable moments. She has feelings. She experiences emotions, and I love her. I love her so much, and I love the little crew that's being assembled right now, and I'm obsessed. I am obsessed with this book. I'm going to check in. No promises I check in another 25%, though. I had to force myself to check in at this 25% because I just wanted to keep reading. So we'll see when I check in. I promise to check in at least one more time before I finish the book. It just may be at 50%, or it may be like 2/3 the way through the book. We'll see, but I'll see you in a bit. Hello, it is the next morning. I have my coffee here. I didn't end up finishing the book last night. Teddy, we can't do this right now. I have too many things to say. We can't have you here. Come on, can you move a little bit? Thank you. Oh, thanks. Yeah, thank you. Okay. I didn't end up finishing the book last night because I ended up going on Kelsey's live show. And we were just hanging out, Kelsey, Andrew, Lexi, and I, having a great time, but I didn't end up finishing the book because of that. And so it's the next morning, and I've been reading it this morning. Holy crap, I think this book is ruining my life in the best way. Because, like, I'm a mess over this book. I'm 65% of the way through, and I've read maybe like 10% already this morning. Like, I just woke up a little bit ago. I just started it back up. And I've already almost cried at 2 moments where nothing even happens. Literally, it's just like them saying something to each other, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, the tears aren't spilling over, but they're being produced in my eyes. There's just not enough water to like spill over. But like, even just thinking about it right now, I feel like I'm getting emotional. It's just so freaking good. I care about them so much, and I think this is going to be my favorite book of the year. Like, I feel like I haven't had this experience with reading in so long. Like, and I know this sounds like cliche. I know like so many people are saying this, but like, truly, this book, not Daughter of No World, but this book, Serpent and the Wings of Night, is giving me similar feelings to when I read like A Court of Mist and Fury for the first time. That's the type of feeling being produced in me. I haven't had that feeling in so long. This book is incredible. It's incredible. There's a moment where literally I did this. I straight up did this. I was reading and then I was like, to no one. I just did that. You know how dramatic that is? It's just, the action is really, really good. Like, the combat and the trials are so exciting, and like the magic is really interesting. The fantasy plot itself is so cool with all the politics, but then we have these horror elements of these vampires being so scary, and our main female character being a human, so she has this delicious blood inside of her. And then the dynamic between our main female character and our main male character is just so fun, because they kind of dislike each other, kind of like each other, they kind of trust each other, but they kind of don't trust each other, they kind of love each other, but they kind of think they have to kill each other. Like, the banter is just the perfect banter ever. It's very much a slow burn, and I feel that tension, I feel it. So I want to say though, like, for this being a fantasy romance, like, it's not super smutty. I think there's going to be like a smut scene, 1 or 2, but it's not like this is very much a plot driven book, character driven book too, but like, I'm just saying this isn't super smutty or anything, so I want to set expectations so none of you watch this and then go in and be disappointed. But it's definitely adult. Like, I think there will be a scene or 2. It's just, you know, it's a slow burn, very much a slow burn. Oh, it's so good. And like, the character development that we've already had is so satisfying. The way that already these characters have moved from where they started the novel at to where they're at 65% of the way through the novel. We've seen such good character growth, and it's such believable character growth too. It's happening at a pace that feels so realistic to these characters, which I think is part of why I feel so attached to them, because they just feel so real, even though it's like, in this vampire world, like, these characters just feel like they're real people because they're written so well, and the growth is just so satisfying. It's the type of growth, like, that's why I love A Court of Mist and Fury, seeing Feyre's growth and that slow burn relationship happening. That's what's like going on in this book too, and it's just so amazing. And I had to force myself to stop reading and do this check-in, because I promised you one more check-in, but I'm sorry, I'm not promising you any more check-ins. I just need to read the rest of this book, because I am scared for the end. I'm terrified for the end. Not that I don't think the end is going to be good. I think it's going to be great. But I don't know if it's going to be happy or not. Like, I'm scared, because this is a series. And I know I just followed the author on Instagram, and it looked like from her graphic, this is going to be a long series set in this world, but this house is going to be a duology, and then it's going to be like a series of connected duologies, I think. So I know book 2 just came out a little bit ago for The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I do not remember the name. Honestly, the name is kind of terrible in my opinion, so it's too long and complicated to remember. But I do know it just came out. So I am also nervous about this vlog too, because I feel like I will want to immediately read book 2 when I really need to be reading this book that I bought for this vlog. Sorry, I'm covering up Teddy. But how can this book compare? I feel like I'm gonna do this book a disservice by reading it right after Serpent of the Wings of Night. I don't know, but I'm gonna go back to reading it. I'll check in when I'm done. Wish me luck, man. I feel like it's gonna put me through the ringer. I feel like you're gonna come back and we're just gonna be bawling. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, see you in a bit. I finished Serpent and the Wings of Night. I'm not okay. It was so good. Teddy, I'm trying to be dramatic right now. Can you stop? But literally, like, is this one of the best books I've ever read before in my entire life? Yes. Yes, it is. This is probably going to be my favorite book of the year. I can't imagine anything topping this, except for perhaps the sequel. The twists and turns at the end. The emotional roller coaster that this book put me on. I cried. I cried at something that happens. And then I was shocked and surprised. And just is so complicated, this book. So here's the thing that's so cool about this book, that I feel like it's doing it really well and doing it in a way like much better than anything else in the genre, at least anything else that I've recently read in the genre, is that these characters are so complicated to the point where there is no easy path that I can see these characters taking. So a lot of the times I feel like in fantasy romance books, and just maybe in books in general, nothing about the genre specifically, is that there's clearly a correct option, you know? And we understand why our characters sometimes struggle with the correct options because of past trauma that they've had, or because of, you know, they don't have all the information at that moment. But like usually it's like you want to shake the characters and be like, come on, like just do it that way. Like that person obviously is evil. But there are no, like there's definitely bad characters and good characters in Serpent and the Wings of Night, but they're all so complicated, and there's no one person that's like mustache twirling evil villain type of guy. You know, like there is no easy option. Everything is complicated, everything is messy. And I completely understand why our characters are making the choices that they're making. Like nothing feels like it's happening purely for the plot. It all feels like authentic to these characters. And it's just so messy in the plot, and what makes it such a good plot is that all of these characters are so complex, so well developed, and they go through such interesting character developments along the story. So it's not even like they start out complex and then they continue on. Like they start out complex and then they get more and more complex as we are moving through the story. And it's just like, I think the character work is fantastic, basically. I think this book is really good at what it's trying to do. I think Carissa Broadbent is a fantastic writer. The prose was beautiful. There's so many quotes that if I was someone who annotated my books, I would be annotating the crap out of this book because there's so many pretty moments in the prose. But then it's so funny too. It's not pretentious at all. It's serious and it's funny. It's got that duality to it. And it's a perfect book. It's a perfect book. I don't have a single complaint about it. In my eyes, it's perfect. It's one of the best things I've ever read. If fantasy romance is the genre that you either like to read or you're interested in reading, I cannot recommend Serpent and the Wings of Night highly enough. It is on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have Kindle Unlimited, you have access to the ebook. Unfortunately, the audiobook is an Audible exclusive, so you'd have to get it through Audible. But, you know, I encourage you to get a free trial. Get Serpent and the Wings of Night audio if you only read through audio, and then cancel before you pay money to Audible, because it's good. I listened to the audio just when I was like doing stuff where I couldn't read physically, so like when I was walking Teddy or cooking, and then most of the other time I just read physically with the ebook through Kindle Unlimited. But I'm going to be buying those hardcovers as soon as I get paid because I need those hardcovers. But I don't even know what to do with myself. This is one of those books that's left me in such a weird mood afterwards. Like, I like loved it so much that I feel like I disconnected from who I am. And I don't know if that's kind of niche to say. I wonder if you guys will appreciate and be able to relate to what I'm saying, but I have to like get back in my body for a moment before I can do anything else. I'll probably just sit here thinking about it for a good half hour. And then I'm gonna eat lunch and take a shower, and I have to start Savage Lands because I'm on a bit of a schedule for when I can get this vlog out, because I'm trying to get out this vlog and reading host favorites before the end of April for Realmathon, of course, and fantasy romance for Realmathon because of those hybrid genre points, lots of points for Enya. So basically, I have to read Savage Lands today, but I think I'm gonna take a food break. Sorry, Teddy knocked the camera. A food break and a shower break, and just, Teddy flashed his butt, I'm sorry. But a food break, a shower break, and like a one TV episode break before I go back into reading, because what has this book done to me? I don't know. Well, I'll check in later. Hello, I'm checking in. I just got out of the shower, but I made it somehow like halfway through Savage Lands. I just blinked and it happened. I meant to check in earlier, but it didn't happen. Also, you can kind of see my Disney postcard pin collection on the wall here. But anyways, I'm loving it. I expected to hate it after Serpent and the Wings of Night. Now, I'm definitely not loving it as much as Serpent and the Wings of Night, but I haven't loved like any book as much as Serpent and the Wings of Night. Like, I cannot stress to you enough that Serpent and the Wings of Night is not only a 5-star, it's like one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life. That's how much I loved it. Where Savage Lands is just feeling like
so far at least, solid 5-star material. Like, so good. And I'm shocked because I expected reading it right after Serpent and the Wings of Night, just through comparison, to hate it, but I'm not hating it at all. Now, I will say, I understand that the series is a fantasy romance series, but I have been told that the romance doesn't start until book 3, and halfway through book 1, I can kind of see where it's going, but like, I don't think there's going to be any romance in book 1. However, the fantasy plot is so fun, and here's the thing, I am a sucker for prison settings. Guess what? Prison setting, baby. I love the prison setting, and it has like fights in it, like gladiator style battles, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. And I really like our main character, and just I freaking love prisons. I don't know what it is, but like I loved the prison setting in oh gosh, what is it called? Along the Razor's Edge. I loved the prison setting in Prison Healer. I loved the little bits of the prison settings we've gotten in Mistborn and Throne of Glass. Like, I just love a good harsh, brutal prison setting. I think it's so fun. And I know that sounds messed up, but that's how I feel. And Savage Lands is just, it has that, and it's so good. I'm really having a great time with it. So I'll try to check in one more time before I finish the book, but I am already halfway through, so we'll see. But I'm so pleasantly surprised. I really expected this book to be like a 3-star after Serpent and the Wings of Night, but we might have another win. We might have another win. Okay, I'm gonna go.
Hello, it's me. It's Editing Kaylee. I'm just here because I totally forgot to give you a synopsis for Savage Lands. I was just too excited about it in my first check-in and didn't tell you anything about the plot. So basically, Savage Lands, I guess it's technically an urban fantasy because it is set in our real world. It's set in Budapest, but it's very not recognizable. Like, it's almost like dystopian urban fantasy. So just heads up, it's urban fantasy, but barely, in my opinion. And basically, when our main character was born, the barriers between the Fae world and the human world were broken down, and Faes have taken over, fairies, I guess, have taken over. And this is now a very brutal world where there are little pockets where humans can live, but most of the world is dominated by the Fae. And they don't like humans, humans don't like Fae, they're in constant war with each other. And our main character is part of this elite human military school where she's going to go and fight Fae warriors. But she also likes to rebel a little bit. She likes to go into Faelands and steal from them, which is very bad because she is the ward of like a super important human family. So it's like a huge scandal if it's found out that she's doing this. They're trying to marry her off. She doesn't want to be married off. She wants to go do reckless things. But it seems like the reckless things are going to catch up with her in this book. And she might have ended up in a Fae prison. That's the basic premise for the book. I'm going to continue on with my updates now.
Hello, you are in my bathroom. Sorry if the noise is slightly echoey, but I need to put on makeup. But I also wanted to update you. So we're doing both at the same time. Putting on makeup because I need to film today. Today is Monday, so it's been like 12 hours since I last talked to you, and I'm just getting ready because I'm filming a very exciting video today along with the intro and outro of this vlog, so might as well look nice for that. But how far am I? I think I'm like 75% into Savage Lands, and I am still really liking it. However, I'm not loving it as much as I was, when I last talked to you. Sorry, I just gotta cover up the spots, you know what I mean? But I'm still really, really enjoying it. I just feel like a large part of the draw for me was that setting that I talked about. And so, without being spoilery, as the setting has become less and less important, I am liking it slightly less than I was at the beginning / whole middle. This is very recent too. I was loving it until about 70%, and now I am liking it. So to be clear, I'm still very much a fan. But I feel like we've hit a bit of a lull, and it's just in the last 5%. So things could quickly move on, and maybe my complaint about 5% of the book won't even be relevant to my final rating. But I am like on the edge of being bored with this last 5% that I just listened to. And I know I said earlier that, oh, like, it seems like the romance isn't going to start until book 3. That's what I heard. I feel like it's kind of already started. Like, it's definitely already fantasy romance for sure. Like, there's been some smutty scenes. Not full smut, but smut-tea. And I will not be clarifying that. I am intrigued with how the bigger fantasy plot will tie into this book and how this book becomes such a long series, because there's been some mysteries throughout the book so far of like things are not as they seem. I'm very curious as to what they actually are if they are not as they seem. So the intrigue level is definitely still high, to be clear. It's definitely still very intriguing. I'm just afraid that like the part that was making me love it so much was a bit of the plot gimmick, and they're not gonna have, what is this series, like 6-book series? They're not gonna have a 6-book series take place in prison the entire time, I would love that though. I would be a fan. I'll pull the hair back so I don't get foundation in it. I feel like I'm doing this so hard on my face when I actually see myself doing it, but I probably shouldn't. I'm probably like stretching my skin, but blending is aggressive. I will continue to aggressively blend. How's it looking? Looking okay? Looking blended? Well, it's looking pretty blended. I don't know what I want to do with my makeup. If I just want to do natural or I want to do dramatic makeup for the video that I'm filming. The video that I'm talking about, which I know I've kind of already spoiled on sprints a couple of times, so you might already know what I'm getting ready for. But the video that I'm talking about is going to be released on Friday. And I know this video will hopefully be released tomorrow on Tuesday, because I am really close to finishing the book. I also need to make dinner tonight after I'm done putting makeup on. And I'll probably finish the book in between me putting on makeup and just during the dinner making process. I think I'm gonna make some pasta tonight. I have 2 like jarred sauces that I got from H-E-B. One just the classic, I think it's like 4 cheese tomato sauce. Sorry, you guys are tilted all of a sudden. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. And then I also have a creamy poblano sauce. Oh, I probably said that so badly, but you know what I'm talking about. I'll show you some B-roll footage of it. I think I'm gonna mix the sauces, put it over some angel hair pasta with some jalapeno cheese sausages. Sounds pretty good to me. I'm excited. I'm gonna contour my face. Even though I don't know what I'm doing when I contour my face, I just kind of draw lines and blend it, and then I feel like it does nothing. But everyone contours their face and they look beautiful, so I'll continue trying to contour my face. Is this right? If you're a contour expert, let me know. Or maybe I could try to contour my nose like people do now. Oh, that's too curved. Like that. Make your nose look smaller. I don't really care how my nose looks. I kind of just want to try this out. And then I think they do a little line here, and a little line here. We'll try it. I should have ended this clip a while ago because I'm kind of all done talking about Savage Lands, but I am having fun doing my makeup in front of you guys. Blending aggressively. Does that look normal? Does that look nice and natural and contoured and snatched? I don't know about that. Oh well, we're moving on. Do I look contoured or do I just look orange now? I feel like I just look orange now. Let's see in this mirror. Oh, I forgot about the nose contour. Oh god. I may have contoured too close to the sun. Oh well. Moving on. The thing about doing makeup for on camera is I feel like my camera quality isn't amazing, and therefore you can't tell when my makeup is looking a little crazy. Does my nose look contoured? Is that how you're supposed to contour your nose? I feel like it did nothing. It kind of hurts when I hit my nose ring still. My nose just kind of looks more orange than normal. Oh well. What do you guys think? Is the nose looking different or just orange? Just like I put some orange stuff on there. I feel like it looks better in this mirror. You're gonna have to trust me about that, but it looks better in this mirror. Will I go dramatic with the blush today? Only time can tell. See, the thing is, my skin is already naturally red. My skin is just quite red most of the time, so putting on blush is almost like I could just remove the makeup in the cheek area and then it would be already be red there, you know? Again, it looks better in this mirror. You're just gonna have to trust me that I'm not doing anything weird. See, it's fine. I'm always way too lazy to do my eyebrows, so I just use this broken, it's like so broken thing. It's all bent. Does it do anything? Not really. But does it make me feel better? Yes. Just kind of do this just to make it stay in the place where it's supposed to stay. And fluff it up. Fluff it up and sweep. That's my technique. I'm obviously an expert. Thank you. Do they look different? I don't know, but do they feel different? Yes. Do I put on eyeshadow? That is my constant debate because the thing is, eyeshadow is annoying. But the thing is, without eyeshadow, I feel like it doesn't look like I have makeup on. I think I'll put on some of this really old eyeshadow that probably is expired. Probably burned my eyes. We're gonna do it. This is an orangey shade. I'm just putting it up here. That's what I feel like doing in my heart. Put a little bit more. I feel like you can't really tell. Look at this hair loop that's going on. Going for orangey eyes today. I forgot about powder. Curse! Put on concealer and no powder. Do you guys think it's too late for powder? I don't know. We'll try it. Because without powder, my eyes are gonna melt. Where's the powder brush? Here we go. Trying not to get it on the blush and contour part. Whatever, I'll just do it all over. Put the excess down there. Because actually, I do need powder because if I don't have powder on my face, I would look so shiny on the camera, even if I'm not like shiny in real life. The camera just loves to make me look sweaty. Which maybe I am sweaty, I don't know. I think I want something darker, like over here. So we're gonna use this and like kind of smudge some darker stuff over here. Can you tell a difference? Because I can't. If you all wear makeup, do you also have a weird makeup putting on face? Let's just blend that a little bit. It's fine, it's fine. I usually wear brown eyeliner, but today I'm gonna wear black because again, the video is a little bit of a special video, so I want it to feel special. And I'm gonna do a winged eyeliner. And what I learned, because I have kind of hooded eyes, I know it's because I'm raising my eyebrows for some reason right now. Let me relax my face. Relax. You can kind of see it's like hooded eye. And so it makes it so the eyeliner wing is really hard to see. So the way to get around that is I draw the wing when my eye is open. So I will like go like that and go over when it's all open. I'll show you in a second because I cannot do it on this camera. I'm gonna do it on my bigger mirror right here. I made it thicker than I wanted to because I forgot I took this eyeliner traveling with me, and for some reason when I traveled with it, it got super inky, and so the lines it makes are really big. But you can see it kind of like, you can see the wing here, and it looks like a normal wing. It's not like lost in the fold of my eye. But then when I do this, it doesn't look like a normal wing. It's like up and then straight down, because that straight down is where it actually connects with the main line when my eye is open, which is most of the time. So, tip if you have hooded eyes, make it look like that instead of connecting it over, because then you lose the wing. And when your eyes are open, it doesn't look winged. I'm gonna put on mascara, and I always am scared that I'm gonna ruin the eyeshadow, so I'm gonna use the big mirror. My mascara is on. My mascara is dying though, so it really didn't do much, but you can kind of see it. And I'm gonna put on lipstick now, and I'm actually gonna go for a bold color. Bright red, baby. I love a bright red lip. I always wear it for special occasions, and Friday video is special occasion, so here we go. All right, the lipstick is on. I love this lipstick so much. It was so dry when I put it on though, so kind of went on a little bit weird. But in person it looks a little bit weird, but on camera when I'm farther away, it'll be fine. Benefits of having makeup just be for a video. I need to brush my hair too. And I should probably change out of the crew neck, but makeup and crew neck is kind of a vibe, you know? This is such a long clip. I'm definitely not gonna be using most of this. But was it fun talking to y'all while I got ready, even if it doesn't make the video? And yes, it was. All right, hair is brushed, looking a bit more put together. I think we're video ready. I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I am ready now, so I am gonna go listen to the rest of Savage Lands, and I'll check in during an official outro, since I'm all made up and ready to do the intro and outro, and I'll let you know what my final thoughts are.
Hello, it is me at the end of the vlog because I finished Savage Lands, and I'm giving this book 4 stars, which might be a surprise because I was loving it so much. But I mentioned in my last check-in that things had dropped down a little bit for me, and they continued to stay at that level. They never dropped down where I was considering giving this anywhere close to a 3 or anything like this. Like, this is a high 4 star, but I just want to vocalize why I'm giving it a 4 star. I feel like the last quarter of the book lost like the direction of the plot a little bit, where it was intentional and it's a style choice. It's nothing that was objectively bad. It's just I prefer when our characters have like a plan of action and are continuing on with their motivations the entire way through, even if they take some detours along the way. Where I felt like the last 25 pages of the book, we were in the dark along with our main character being in the dark. So while there was a plan of action, we weren't aware of it, and therefore it felt a little bit meandering in the last 25%, where it felt like we lost our focus a little bit. Of course, it's just a style choice. You may or may not agree with me, but for me, the last 25%, I just wasn't as connected into the story as I was for the first 75%. But I still overall really enjoyed this book. I'm so excited to continue on in the series, and I would highly recommend this book for people that want fantasy romance. This is very much a slow burn though. There are some smutty scenes, but I wouldn't call this anywhere close to like a smut book. It's probably like even lower down on the spice level than the Carissa Broadbent books, which even those books only had like 1 or 2 scenes in each of them. Just something to be aware of, but I really enjoyed this. It's just, it dropped down a little bit from my first check-in. So to rate all the books for your recap, giving this book 4 stars, I'm giving Daughter of No Worlds 3 stars, and I'm giving A Serpent and the Wings of Night 5 stars. Serpent of the Wings of Night was by far the winner of this video. In fact, I'm not even giving it 5 stars, I'm giving it 6 stars because it's one of my favorite books I've ever read before. Daughter of No Worlds was definitely the biggest disappointment. I'm really sad I didn't love it as much as other people, but after finishing it and expressing the fact that I didn't love it as much, a lot of people have been telling me that the series does get much better. So even without knowing that, I was still interested in continuing on with the series, but now I am actually really hopeful that perhaps the series could end up being a favorite and being higher rated than the first book, and perhaps the first book is just the weakest one in the series. So either way, I am a huge fan of Carissa Broadbent now, because Serpent and the Wings of Night was chef's kiss, so good. And then Daughter of No World was okay. And then this book was pretty good too. So overall, this video was a win. I mean, it would have been a win even if I hated Daughter of No Worlds and Savage Lands, just because Serpent and the Wings of Night was so good. That brings us to the end of the video though. Please leave me your fantasy romance recommendations down in the comments, because I feel like I want to continue with reading fantasy romance for next month too, because I had such a fun time doing this vlog. So maybe I'll even do another fantasy romance vlog in May if that's something you're interested in. Just give me your recs of what I should read in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, please like the video and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you next time. Bye!